What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys a video. And today we're doing What If the Humans Became Saiyans, episode 1. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. In this timeline, in the aftermath of the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, the humans all become curious as to how Goku keeps getting stronger quicker than all of them. It was odd considering Yamcha and Krillin did the same training, and were nowhere near his strength. All four Earthlings would ask Roshi if he has any idea which Roshi would contemplate. He'd bring up Goku's origin and theorizes that Goku may not be human. Wanting confirmation to make sure Roshi isn't just telling tales, they'd all venture to the lookout to speak with Kami about Roshi's hypothesis. Kami would begin to think and decide to look down to Mount Paozu to see if there was any evidence of his alien origin, finding a space pod to which he came to Earth in. Hearing how Goku is an alien makes Tien somewhat annoyed. It wasn't raw skill that was making Goku stronger than him, but due to him not being human. It brings up an idea in Tien's mind. If he and Goku are on an equal playing field, would he be able to beat him? Tien asks Kami if he thinks the Dragon Balls could change someone's race, making his thoughts clear to everyone. Kami would confirm that Tien could most likely become what Goku is, due to how similar in biology Goku appears to be human, aside from a tail and a couple different characteristics. Krillin asks Tien if he thinks it is a good idea to do that, which Tien confirms. It'll mean Goku doesn't have to do everything on his own anymore. He'll be on an equal playing field. Plus Piccolo's still out there and he almost killed Goku. Or if he tries again and succeeds, they will all be killed in that scenario. The bold monk has to admit that Tien's logic is sound. So sound in fact, that he also decides he'll become whatever Goku is to make sure that he can keep everyone safe. Plus if he wants to turn back, there's always the option. They ask Yamcha if he wants to, with the Desert Bandit being somewhat hesitant. What if Bulma doesn't like him after the transformation? Krillin remarks that Bulma probably doesn't like him now, so what's to lose, making Yamcha do the traditional anime fall. He would agree to the plan though. Kami warns them though, that they can all become Saiyans. It is most likely impossible for Chaozu to become one. His biology is too distinct from a human that it's probably not going to work. Chaozu remarks it's okay, he didn't really want to become one anyway. The four Earthlings find the Dragon Balls with Dragon Radar, where they would summon Shenron. They would make their wish to be like Goku, and Shenron's eyes glow. Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha feel their minds warp as a tail sprouts out. Shenron vanishes, leaving the three newly created Saiyans in awe at their new bodies. They certainly feel different now, which makes sense. Yamcha and Krillin swiftly remove their tails, remembering how Goku became a mighty Ozaru, and how difficult it was to subdue him. Tien, however, chooses to keep his tail, which makes the other two panic. They explain to Tien what happened when Goku looked at the moon, and how it can make Tien more dangerous to everyone else. Tien promises that he'll master the power by the next time they meet, which leaves them uneasy, but they agree and everyone flies off to go live their lives. Yamcha would begin training regularly instead of hitting on girls, since he wouldn't have as much interest in them with his Saiyan blood. This new side of Yamcha intrigues Bulma, and makes the two somewhat closer to a point where they're still together after the 5-year time skip, and much more closer than they were prior. Krillin trains with Roshi at Kame House and demonstrates how being a Saiyan has changed him. It makes Roshi somewhat stronger, but does wonders for Krillin. Eventually, Roshi tells Krillin that he's not doing much of Krillin's training anymore, so he should go and train alone, which Krillin does. Whenever Krillin trains, he goes to some nearby islands and practices his techniques, and makes himself much stronger in the process. Finally comes the Triclops. Once a month, Tien would send Chaozu away and instead dead at the moon, becoming the mighty Ozaru. He tries to learn to control his power, which he'd of course struggle to do. After 4 years of repetitive training, he'd learn how to remain and control the form, since he's much more spiritually stable than Goku or most Saiyans. With this power, Tien feels like he's become the strongest on Earth, and wants to test this newfound ability. He seeks out Piccolo and tells him that he wants a rematch, which the Demon Child would agree to, telling Tien that he'll enjoy killing him. An intense battle would ensue where both would become extremely battle damaged. Tien's body becomes so damaged, where Piccolo would end up disabling Tien's arms so he can no longer fight back. That's when two more arms sprout out and begin to spin, creating the Mafuba. Piccolo tries to reverse it, however Chaozu uses paralysis from afar to quickly stop him, allowing Tien to truly seal him. They then take the Mafuba jar and give it to Kami, who would thank Tien for his services. After the 5-year time skip, the power levels of everyone is Tien, 435, Goku, 416, Krillin, 396, Yamcha, 344, Chaozu, 138. When Raditz arrives on Earth, he finds Tien training in the wasteland with Chaozu and realizes that this isn't his brother. Or is it? Raditz spots Tien's tail and becomes confused at the sight of another Saiyan, and questions why they're on Earth when all the Saiyans were killed, which makes Tien begin questioning Raditz about the Saiyan race as a whole. After Raditz monologues the origin of the Saiyans, he asks Tien to join his fellow brethren, Screw trying to find Kakarot. When Tien declines, Raditz raises up a hand, ready to blast Tien and kill him, since there is no need for a Saiyan who is against conquest. Before he kills Tien, however, his scout goes off, finding 3 strong power levels, and flies off to go see if it is his brother. Meanwhile, the reunion is taking place at Kame House. This time Yam should be there since him and Bulma are closer, as I mentioned. They bring up to Goku that they became whatever Goku is, which excites him. The 3 of them begin sparring, where Goku is forced to discard his weight and clothing just to keep up. Raditz would arrive on the scene, explaining everything to Goku like normal. He kidnaps Gohan and Goku would begin to follow with Krillin and Yamcha, with Tien meeting up and going with them, leaving Chaozu at Kame House. When they arrive and begin battle, they all do quite well against Raditz. Raditz realizes that the people he is fighting are all Saiyans, and demands to know how 4 Saiyans end up on the mud ball. Yamcha would smugly remark that they have things called Dragon Balls that grant wishes. They just have to become Saiyans, making anger fly through Raditz. How dare you pretend to be members of the proud Saiyan race? Gohan would still end up headbutting Raditz, leaving him in a weak condition. Krillin then fires his newly made Kienzon at Raditz, slicing him in half, making him fall to the ground in 2 pieces. He'd still give his warning about Vegeta and Nappa before he passes on to the next realm. Hearing about the 2 Saiyans that are assumed to arrive makes Goku realize that they need all the help they can get. They need to train with Gohan and Piccolo. Tien remarks that Piccolo has been sealed in the Mafuba at Kami's. They should go there, and they all got to a lookout. Goku released Piccolo from the Mafuba and tells him about the situation, where the Namekian reluctantly agrees to help. They'll begin training on Kami's lookout, an intense long year of training. Gohan would interact with Piccolo during his training, and slowly they begin developing their bond. But Piccolo and Gohan get stronger since they're training year long, instead of Gohan having to do that 6-month survival thing. Tien would train with Goku intensely, going days at a time without stopping, getting constant Zenkai boosts. One of the main reasons Tien wanted to be a Saiyan was to be on an equal playing field with Goku, and now he has his answer as to what would happen. Sometimes he wins, and other times he loses. He is advised by Goku to learn to train his tail, which he would do during this time. Krillin and Yamcha are training with each other, while they both learn just how useful it is to be a Saiyan. Their gains are much more than what they used to be, if they hadn't changed. At the end of the year of training, everyone's power level is Goku 16,000, Tien 15,100, Krillin 11,400, Yamcha 9,900, Piccolo 6,100, Gohan 3,400. Chaozu would have started training but would have been left behind fairly quickly, so he chooses to no longer train, which Tien understands and actually supports. Nappa and Vegeta arrive in a wasteland where the Z-Fighters are, and scoffs looking at the full Saiyans. They're merely replicas of the superior race. Yamcha chuckles at the statement, making Vegeta extremely angry. Something funny, copycat? Yeah, the fact that you can't handle us replicas being stronger than you. Hearing this comment makes Vegeta's face contort in rage, his eyes going bloodshot. He rushes at Yamcha and begins to fight him, beating him into him harshly, leaving him a bloody pulp. Meanwhile, Nappa doesn't even spend time with the Cybermen as he knows his opponents are much stronger than that, so he instead asks who's going to die first. Piccolo steps up as he wants to prove that the Saiyans aren't the only strong race. Him and Nappa begin battle, with the Namekian managing to hold off the Saiyan fairly well. Nappa doesn't want to kill Piccolo due to him being tied to the Dragon Balls, but becomes more and more angry, wanting him dead. Piccolo ends up placing his hand around Nappa's neck and fires a Makan Kosopo through Nappa's chest, killing him swiftly. Goku walks over to Vegeta and tells him that Yamcha's had enough and to let him go, which Vegeta obliges. The only other real Saiyan is there, the only person worthy fighting is the Prince. The duo begin to fight almost evenly, with Vegeta having a slight advantage. Yamcha is given a Senzu Bean and stands back up, receiving a Zenkai boost, placing him at 13,000. Everyone watches as Goku and Vegeta battle, and eventually fall into their iconic beam clash. Everyone rushes to Goku's side and helps him shoot back Vegeta into orbit. When Vegeta gets high up, he looks at the moon and becomes an Ozaru, falling back to Earth with a growl. His eyes begin to scan around, looking at everyone, before deciding to set his eyes on one of them. A mouth blast forms and is launched straight at Gohan, which Piccolo would take for the boy, pushing him out of the way, getting incinerated immediately in the process. Gohan becomes enraged and blasts Vegeta, proving futile in his efforts. The distraction worked as a massive Kikoho swallows Vegeta, creating a bright flash of light. Ozaru Tien stands over Vegeta and begins pushing further in the crater, telling Krillin to hurry up and finish this. Krillin walks over and throws a Kienzon into the crater and cuts off Vegeta's tail, watching him revert to normal and crawl out the massive hole. Tien prepares to kill Vegeta, however Goku stops him, saying he wants to fight him again, as does Yamcha. so Vegeta would escape as per canon. Krillin would remember Namek to bring back Piccolo, and brings it up to everyone else with Krillin, Yamcha, Bulma and Gohan going in Kami's old ship. Tien and Goku stay on Earth and prepare to follow if the worst happens, which reassures the Z-Fighters. But guys, that's the only video here. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment down below to come in the next episode. I'm not the first person to cover this timeline, but Plus Ultraman and Ultimate ADJ did it. But I think I'm the first person to do it in this style, to where it's before the Saiyan saga. If I'm not, I will try to credit you in the next episode. And yeah, bye!